Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining for today's webinar, How to Save Time and Resources by Automating Your Listings and Review Management. It's a really interesting topic we've got to talk to you about today. We're going to be covering, obviously, automation, but on the performance side, we're going to talk about some, how to get ROI as well. So tons of different topics, I just want to start with talking a little bit about a couple of housekeeping items. The first one being that if at any stage today in today's webinar, you have a question, please put it into the GoToWebinar chat. It should be there, it should be pretty easy to see. And that at the end of today's webinar as well, please, there should be some type of survey that pops up that asks you to rate how we've done. So please fill that out. Let us know whether we've done a good job or a bad job, and please let us know if there's it could have been better. We always really like to know how to improve what we do here. So let's jump right in, and I'm going to introduce you to these two lovely people. First one you see is myself. I'm Brad Fagan. I'm the Product Marketing Insights Lead at Uberall. And just a little bit about me and why I'm presenting today. I write a lot of the reports at Uberall. So, listings management and review management, reputation management are pretty important subjects to me. And I really like to deep dive into that and try and find ways of visualizing, the type of impact that listings and review management has on, visibility and conversions and all that goodness, and definitely as well how we can make it easier for businesses to connect themselves with the customer on that customer journey as well. So that's a bit about that work. And then also in terms of product marketing, I like to deep dive into our products and look at the value that it has and being able to communicate that as well. So this is very much my role here, and explaining listings and review automation. That's one of the reasons I'm on here. I know a lot about it, and then so does our next speaker, Crystal. Crystal, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Brad. So I'm Crystal Tang. I am our solutions engineer for strategic partnerships at Uberall. My focus is really ensuring that we are providing our partners with a platform that works for them, it works for their clients, and it brings all of these tools together that we're going to talk about today. Automation, operational efficiencies, and the ability to be successful from a local standpoint. So my background is in local SEO for multi-location businesses. I've spent a little bit around a decade managing multi-location local SEO. So understand all of the challenges that, franchise and agencies are facing in terms of, bringing these resources to the front. So excited to really dive into what we're going to share with you guys today.
Great stuff. Thanks, Crystal. Moving on, I just thought to start off with, we'd play you a little brandy video of Uberall in terms of just showing you who we are and what we do in terms of the high level connectivity of what the product actually does and how it services our customers. So let you understand who we are as Uberall.
Half of all search today is for local businesses near me. Reaching consumers when they intend to buy is called near me marketing. Brands that manage the information and reviews for their local points of sale retain more customers and double near me search visibility. Make sure you're being found online, engaged offline, and deliver a better customer experience. Grow your business in the age of near me. Find out more at uberall.com.
So if you're someone that likes to look for Easter eggs, you might have seen there in the video that one of the actors there, the one that's actually in the thumbnail of the video, is actually myself. So not only do I present at webinars, I'm also a web video star as well. So let's jump into a little bit more about who we are and why it actually matters. So Uberall is a location marketing software company, and we position ourselves as sort of like a near me marketing or a near me brand experience platform. We do our expertise, and what we're going to focus on today is in these kind of this data management and search optimization area and review management and customer loyalty, customer experience category. So we're going to focus specifically on these categories today, but we also do website data management and search optimization, and also sort of like local ads, near me ads, and then data analytics as well of all this goodness as well. So we kind of wrap it all up in that advanced analytics type of thing, so we can kind of analyze local marketing as well. So that in terms of the platform, in terms of our experience, in terms of what we do as a product, this is kind of what makes us able to get these insights into what is the impact of efficient listings and review management, and then how can we understand how this leads to performance, how this leads to marketing ROI. Cool. So earlier on, we ran this survey to just kind of get an understanding of where you were at and sort of the most important challenges that you were actually facing. And what we found was that performance was number one most important. Establishing marketing ROI was the second biggest challenge for multi-location marketers, and also for like IT managers and these type of people that actually deal a lot with data management. But also I ran one on my own LinkedIn and found that efficiency and data consistency were big issues as well to those that need to manage the data for multi-location brands. So in collecting this feedback, we structured this webinar specifically to deal with each of these factors. So the efficiency and data consistency, performance, online visibility, and then also establishing marketing ROI, and how all three of these can be achieved through automation. So let's just talk about that, what a play-by-play structured overview of what you're going to get today. First of all, just like I said, how centrally managing your listings is going to save you time, how listings automation increases performance, the ROI of listings management, and how listings platforms make you better as a company, make your performance better, but also allow you to actually get the type of performance benefits that are going to be, that you're going to be able to actually report on. And then lastly, how you can measure the current state of your local marketing efforts with a little free tool that we have that's called NEMI 360. So firstly, we're just going to get on to how centrally managing your listings saves time, and actually Crystal is going to take that part. So Crystal, take us away.
Awesome, thanks, Brad. So really, just to kind of set the stage, we understand that for multi-location businesses and agencies, typically you're going to have different challenges than maybe an SMB or someone running just a couple locations has. And I think we've taken that into account in terms of the platform that we've built. So want you all to understand that that's kind of the way we're framing this. So the first element of our platform is really about creating and publishing your core location data. These are what I like to refer to as like the non-negotiables. These are things like your name, your physical address, your phone, your opening hours, those core pieces of business data that you just cannot operate without. You cannot have visibility without them. In addition to kind of that core data, we also take a huge focus on building optimization around that location. So these are all things that can be customized by region, by location, by any level that your business sees fit, but also helps highlight special services, products, and features that are available at those locations. And these are things like categories and leveraging all of the attributes that are available to your category. Adding keywords, so things that may not be present in other parts of your business, like your name or your category, but it's important for you to show up and be present for these elements. So all of those supplemental data elements that really make your location rich and optimized is kind of our second area of the platform that we allow our businesses to focus on and bring automation to. The third is really, positioning businesses with a detailed description. This really helps, bring a voice to that kind of sometimes bland location data, this allows you to bring personality, make sure customers understand what you're trying to represent from a visual standpoint. And then from there, what our platform is doing is it is then syndicating all of this information out to all of the places that your business needs to be found, and bringing it to light in a very transparent and easy way to see if you're looking at a single location or you're looking at hundreds or thousands of locations. And you can see here that the ability to manage a single source of truth really brings our partners and agencies a lot of efficiencies in terms of time management. So what our platform does is we've got a number of elements, including bulk import and API functionality, and even in-dashboard editing that allows you to make changes simply to a single piece of location data or multiple elements of location data. And by doing that, what our platform is doing is we're also reformatting and transforming that data into how each directory prefers it. So one of the things I think makes our platform, or a platform like Uberall, so powerful is that publishing your data on dozens of websites across the web has a lot of different requirements. And we've been able to take kind of the heavy lifting out of this for our partners and agencies by bringing automation to this. So we've got a multi-step data cleansing process that not only is reformatting your location data to ensure that it's accurate, that the format is how Google Maps prefers and how Apple Maps prefers and Foursquare, but also making sure that it's positioned correctly from a category standpoint, that it's mapping correctly to all of these. And what we see the output is that these are getting published quickly, they're getting indexed, they're ranking, and they're competing in a much quicker standpoint than if you were to manage each of these manually. The other thing that our platform does is it's going to bring in the reviews for all of the locations you're managing. I think the first step in getting visible online is, of course, your location data, but reviews is one of those factors that for the last 5 years just grows in terms of importance to not just search engines and how they rank you, but consumers and how they understand your business and hopefully choose your business. So we've made sure that that's a key element of our platform, that you can easily see all of the reviews for your locations, and you can understand the performance of them, and you are able to share these with your team, whether you are sitting at corporate or at an agency level and you're looking down, or you want to roll out that feature and functionality to regional managers so they can see how stores or locations are performing. In addition to just pulling in Google My Business reviews, we're pulling in reviews from about 20 other sites across the web. And we're also giving businesses and managers the ability to respond within the platform. So in addition to just seeing the data, understanding how you're doing, we want to make sure that our tool gives you the ability to communicate and the ability to have that conversation with your customer. Again, that's another element of this that is growing in importance, not just getting reviews and getting great quality reviews, but it's really having that voice as an extension of your business and responding to that customer, letting them know how important that feedback was to you. And then also, surfacing this information internally for your teams. If you got a really great review about a location, or maybe you rolled out a new service and you got some, maybe constructive feedback, our tool allows you to surface this to other users internally to say, hey, we might need to reconsider this, curbside pickup feature because it's a little rocky. But really giving you visibility into these types of things that normally would be really hard to see. And outside of just listings and reviews, we understand how important it is to just see performance. So, as the survey that Brad shared, understanding what ROI is, understanding your online visibility are critical to multi-location marketers. And our tool within the platform, Advanced Analytics, really gives you the ability to see this. So we are pulling in things like how many views each of your locations are getting, how many searches they're getting, what types of clicks, what type of phone calls, and at what type of day are those coming in. So what our tool allows you to do with this data, again, look at it either high level across all of your locations, but also gives you the ability to drill down and see which locations are maybe outperforming others, which one are growing at, you know, a rate that is above other locations, and which ones are not performing as well. And what that does is it allows you to say, hey, maybe there are some operational efficiencies that this region or market has achieved, and that can kind of be like our test store. We need to adopt some of these policies for other locations. So really giving you the ability to either look at everything across the board or get really granular with the data. We understand that there's use cases where you would need to see both of those. And that's really what our advanced analytics platform allows. And with that, I am going to pass it back to Brad, who's going to talk about some of our really interesting stats about listings automation and how this increases your performance.
Great, thanks, Crystal. So yeah, all these tools and the automation side of things for listings and review management are great in terms of efficiency and data management and making sure that you have brand consistency. But what is the actual performance? How do we measure that performance, and is there really an impact on performance? And that's what we're going to take a look at now. So our most recent study that we created was based off the notion that since around about 2019, I mean, maybe before that, but it's certainly been growing since 2019, has been the proliferation of experts that claim that, you know, listings are no longer relevant, citation building, whatever you want to call this kind of listings management, and building out a listings profile online. We approach this with the question of, is citation building across long tail directories, so many different directories, review sites, search engines, all that type of goodness, is it still valuable for a local SEO strategy? So that's the big question that we wanted to ask and answer, because we wanted to know whether, you know, there is still this kind of performance element, and whether it's still valid in terms of very much that listings conversation, but also we'll go into how that impacts reviews as well. So first of all, in 2019, we did a study, a Boston study, where we surveyed the metro area, and we looked at 50,000 locations to see whether they were optimized. We had one simple framework with which to look at that by. We just looked to see if all of these locations had perfect citations, so perfectly filled out complete profiles on Google, Bing, and Yelp, just three big directory platforms, and we found that only 4% of those locations had perfect citations across all of those. So for us, that was a big red flag to the fact that, you know, listings has been around for a while, but it's not doesn't necessarily mean that just because it's been around for a while that people do a good job of managing their listings and directories. So we also then did a study to understand the impact of this accuracy, right? I mean, yeah, you don't have accuracy, but what does that really mean? Well, what it means is when we looked at the top 10% of the most accurate locations versus the bottom 10% of accurate locations. So we measured the extremes. We found that there was an 18 times visibility increase, right? So, what that proves really is, yeah, it's measuring to extremes, but it does really show that accuracy does have an impact on visibility online. It is not only a ranking factor, but a trust factor among consumers when they're conducting online searches. Secondly, what we did is we analyzed this a slightly different way. We looked at just the most complete profiles. So if a location profile had 100% accurate information across all of their online directories versus the rest, yeah. And so what we wanted to see was, are the best of the best outperforming the rest in terms of if they have complete profiles on all of their directories, on all of the listings, online listings where their business information is out there, what impact does that have? Yeah, and the impact on their GMB profile conversions, right? And so what we found was there was, for those that had 100% accurate, on average across 115,000 locations that we analyzed, indirect search increased by 90% of those that had 100% accuracy. Also, there was an impact on conversions as well. So 71% increase in driving directions and 85% increase in website clicks. So at the end of this kind of large study that we conducted, we found that if you have a complete profile, so all of the profile pieces filled out on each individual listing, then yes, it does have a performance impact.
And I would just add here, Brad, really quick, in terms of why accuracy is important. And what does this mean? Like, how does Google and the search engines understand that your business data is accurate? So in addition to the information that a business is going to be providing directly to Google or another site, they're also doing their own scans and checks. And so they're going to be evaluating the information that's on your website, the information that exists on dozens and dozens of other websites. So if you're only focusing on managing data on GMB and you're not double checking the data that you've got on Bing and Yelp and Apple Maps, Google could see brand confusion, which decreases their level of trust within your data, which then would, result in you not ranking as high in some of those really, unbranded searches that are driving a lot of these conversions.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. So we then looked at, does an extended network of directories impact visibility? So, obviously, there has been some argument of whether it is important anymore to have this, listings network, but then there's another argument of, yeah, I mean, it's still important, but, have your GMB correctly filled out and that's enough, or add a couple more players, add Bing, add Apple Maps, add Facebook, something like this, right? So we wanted to see and measure whether those that just had GMB, Facebook, Bing, and Apple Maps, whether there was a difference between the ones that were just on those and had profiles on those, and then the ones that were on an extended network. And so we looked at an extended network of 9+ directories. So the ones that are below were picked. So Brownberg, Silex, iGlobal, Foursquare, and Tupelo were picked because they're global directories. But really, the point was to pick an extended network of 5 or more directories where we could see just really basically, is there an impact, right? And so as you can see across the board, there's between a 60 and 80% increase in search factors across all of those search factors. And to us, that shows that, yes, it does have an impact. And as we kind of move on to the next point here about, how many directories is important, you can actually see this extended network argument flowing over into, yeah, if you're having, say, 30 to 39 directories that your business is listed on, right, then you're more likely to increase conversions. We looked at, so I took the total from, say, for instance, if they were, for SMB, under 10 directories, and looked at the impact of having 30 to 39 and found that there was about a 320% increase for small businesses. And then for enterprise, the bucket started at 10 to 19 directories up to 30 to 39, and the increase was about 320% there as well. So while 30 to 39 is the sweet spot, it's important that we don't get wrapped up in you must have 30 to 39. That's not what the study was created to do. It was to show and benchmark, an extended network of directories is important, and those businesses that do automate this have obviously a leg up, because if you're centralizing all of this management and doing it all in one place, there's obviously less room for error. And when you're a large enterprise that's actually managing a lot of locations on multiple directories, it becomes a really hard job to manage. And so if you want to get the performance benefits, then the best thing to do is actually to automate your listings, because that is the logical thing to do to make sure that you have this level of consistency everywhere that your locations and your brand are positioned online, and then you're going to see the optimization lead to conversions down the track. And I wanted to go from sort of the data management and listing side of things into review management and how that impacts the conversation as well. And obviously we know that a lot of the time these things are connected, right? So if you're managing this within your within one centralized place, your listings, your review management, and you're applying to reviews, it does have that knock-on effect. You know, how much does listings have to do with it? How much does review management have to do with it? You know, it's not always so easy to quantify, but we do know that both have an impact, a measured impact on visibility and conversion. So, you know, data management has knock-on impacts for brand image and customer satisfaction, definitely. And then you can also use review factors to measure trust. So in our NEMI 360 tool, you know, you can see the data on the right. Has actually been taken and subsectioned by industry. You can see there for the averages by of reply rate from the business by market. So you can see, you know, DACH, France, UK, and then you can see the reply rate of the business, the average, the benchmark, and then also you can see the total conversions. And we've found that there is a correlation between the conversion rate and the reply rate of the business. Also, there are other factors around reviews as well, but I'm just going to keep it pretty high level today. And then also just show you down there at hospitality, you can see that they don't reply so much, and perhaps that has an impact on the average total conversions as well. You know, centralizing reviews helps businesses get more visibility and convert within their industry because it's a lot easier to reply and, you know, create that trust element. I always like to say as well that when you're replying to a review, you're not replying just to that one person, you're replying to everyone else who comes later and reads that review. And just to really drive home that fact, if you see here on the left, this is data that purely shows that when a business replies to 30% of their reviews, they get 80% more conversions than a business that replies to just 10% in their reviews. So if you're applying to 1 in 10, you're not going to really be getting the conversion or the trust factors. You're not going to be filling that trust factors that allows that consumer in real time when they're looking at your GMB profile to really make that choice to, you know, click on driving directions or your website or to make a phone call. And then as we see here, the data there on the right, it shows that the bigger the business, basically the worse the reply rate. And that has a lot to do again with this issue of managing reviews, managing your data, your business data, and how difficult it becomes the bigger the business size. If you're a global brand, it's a lot harder to reply to those location-specific reviews. That's why automation and tools are really important for making that happen and getting those performance gains, especially within your niche, especially over the competitors who probably aren't doing a great job at replying to those reviews themselves. Great. So I'm just going into the ROI of listings and review management. And first of all, I just wanted to show you this kind of high-level overview of sort of the traditional funnel journey and why, you know, NEMI, not necessarily NEMI marketing as such, but this kind of, you know, NEMI search, local search, what the opportunity is there and what the return of investment is when you're optimizing for this journey, right? So in a traditional funnel journey, you have to, you know, create a lot of different messaging. You have to do A to B testing, and then you have that awareness to purchase stage, which is very long, and there's traditionally a very, you know, long sales cycle. And then when you're looking at the NEMI journey, the local journey, it's important to understand that when the consumer is doing a search of, you know, this near me, if it's coffee near me, if it's, you know, hamburger near me, obviously that's an impulse purchase. They're hungry now, they're going to purchase now. But even for a car, an automobile, something like that, that they've been doing this traditional funnel journey for a while, when they actually want to go to a dealership, that's when they're going to be doing this local search, and that's when you want to be optimized for these type of high intent searches that then you're ready for also when they are evaluating your GMB profile with the review side of things, that you're building, you've got all that trust built out, not only at the brand level, but also at that location level as well. So it's really important to understand the value there of local marketing, even when you're a large enterprise organization. Cool, and I just wanted to take this sort of full circle back to what Crystal was talking about in terms of managing that data and making sure that within, you know, any platform that you decide on, any tool that you use to manage your business information, that you understand that it's really important to stand out for all the categories that your business sells, whether it's products, whether it's services. It's really important, say for a petrol station or a gas station like Total, for instance, that they do a lot of different things. They sell gas, but they also sell car washes, they sell coffee, they sell groceries. They're a hard segment to pin down because they have so many different services and products, right? So when a business like that structures their product and service categories by location across all of their locations, then they're obviously going to optimize for all of these near me searches going on when the consumer's putting that into their phone. And then the performance factors, you can see that you can get something like 120% increase in total maps views like Total did, just by organizing better little things like these categories, but also a pin on a map, and making sure that this data management is really on point within any automation platform that you actually choose. Same with reviews. When you consolidate that, it makes it easier to reply to reviews. The customer we work with replies to 100% of their reviews across 300 franchise locations, and that really puts the power in the hands of the franchise, but it also allows you to obviously manage your reviews centrally, and then this has allowed the business to reply to 100% of reviews and then increase their profile views by 94% as well. And then lastly, in terms of ROI, and when we did this study of our own customers, we found that we wanted to look at the 6 months before they were a customer. It's very specifically in the 6 months after, just to prove that ROI for the locations that work with an automation platform. And we found that they had a 25% on average increase in unbranded search the 6 months before they became a customer, and then 140% in the 6 months after. And then when we look at engagements, so not just visibility, but engagements as well, we found that there was also a strong impact here 6 months before becoming a customer, 6 months after, 100% engagement growth there on average across all the locations that we analyzed for this. So there was a multi-thousand location analysis that went in here. So yeah, it's very interesting to see the impact that the data management and reputation management or review management platform has on visibility and conversions, and you can actually measure that within these platforms as well to show that ROI. Cool. So lastly, I just wanted to go through, before we get into questions, how you can measure the current state of your local marketing efforts with a free tool that we have called NearMe 360. And I just wanted to show you briefly, what it kind of looks like. So in a nutshell, NearMe 360 is a score that you get, and it's a combination of 4 elements combined. And those elements are actually in a lot of the studies that we've already done, and they're a combination of that and some well-known ranking factors and optimization factors for local marketing. So it's based on location accuracy, your reviews, your conversions, and search optimization, and then you kind of get benchmarked against your niche industry, and you see sort of where you line up, so you can understand where you need to make changes to that, and to adapt a strategy to actually improve performance. And as you can see here, I'm just showing how it all works. So basically, you connect your account that is connected to your business's GMB account, and you choose the locations you want to analyze, and then create a complete benchmarking performance report. So you see there, you can choose multiple locations, or you can just choose all of them. And then at the end of it, you can just run the report. It's pretty simple. You do need access to a GMB account or someone who does within your organization to get a clear picture of your location performance. But yeah, when you actually return that report, you can actually see, as an example here, what I'm showing you now is one of these reports, and it's quite in depth. And as I said before, easy to run, totally free. It checks the data accuracy, review benchmarks, and the location impressions and conversion rate against the competition. And then secondly, a score takes your business category into account. So one thing I like to say is, so a plumber doesn't get matched against a restaurant, which would be completely different, which would have completely different review benchmarks. For instance, you're matched against your niche, which is great. And then understanding the benchmarks within this report that are going to help you to maximize conversions within that niche is also really valuable as well. And like I said, completely free tool. So it's something that I think that after this, we'll send you a link to it, and definitely you should use this, if for nothing else, to get a clear picture of how you're performing and how you can actually improve. Great. I mean, that's basically us. That's essentially us. I hope you've kind of enjoyed what we've talked about today. And if you have any questions, if we've left anything out, if there's any gray areas, please feel free to ask some questions. I know Crystal's been, since I've been talking for a while, she's been collecting some questions. And Crystal, if you want to start us off.
Yes, of course. I think we've got time for a handful of questions. If you've included any questions that we don't get to, we will follow up via email with our answer to your question after this, and we'll send the recording and the presentation to everyone that's registered. So look out for that in the next couple of days. So I will go ahead and start with the first question. Brad, I'll kick this one over to you. What is the most important factor that impacts local conversions?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a difficult one. I mean, in the recent years, what we've seen is that there's been a heavy kind of movement across to reviews being such an important factor for conversions, right? And I mean, we know that listings are super important for getting your branded and unbranded search visibility. So it's getting them there, right? It's getting them to see you in the local map pack, the 3-pack. And then actually once you're visible and once they're on that profile, obviously, review factors impact visibility as well. But what I've been seeing is the evolution of reviews, how they're being used, how they're actually even within the text that someone writes to talk about your business. So if you're asking, say for instance, what cocktail bar has the best service, and the review of that business is actually used to bring them up in search results. So not only is it important from what customers say in terms of the context of their reviews about your business, in terms of your visibility in search, it's actually massive for when the customer reads the reviews, sees how your business is doing, but actually sees you're applying to those reviews, and then says, well, they're a business that's committed to their customers, that's reading their reviews, that's replying to their reviews, and that's the thing that really at the end of the day is going to get them over the edge, and it's going to make them convert, click on driving directions, and send them to your business. So reviews is really my answer there.
Yeah, and I would just add, I like to put on my consumer searcher hat when addressing things like this. If I'm in a new city and I'm looking for a restaurant nearby and I'm not familiar with any of the names or the brands that are there, what is the very next thing you're going to look at? They might all be, Italian restaurants. And again, if you're in a new city and you don't know what they are, the very first thing I'm going to look at is reviews. If I see right there that one of them has 4-star and the other ones are teetering around 2 or 3, the very first one I'm going to click on to explore more is going to be the one with the higher review count. So from a consumer perspective, absolutely. And there's going to be industries where that's much more impactful than others.
Yeah.
All right, so the next question we have is, how does Uberall sync the location data with directories? I'll go ahead and take this one. So our platform primarily leverages two-way APIs. to sync data with locations with directories. So essentially what we're doing is first a search. So we're searching to find if the location data that's in our platform for your business exists on that directory. If it does, we match to it and update it. If it doesn't, we create it. So kind of a very simplified explanation for how we kind of search and find. And then from there, what our platform does is a periodic check. So we're making sure that even if the data in our platform did not change, you haven't changed hours all month, your address is still the same, there's no new phone number, there's also a possibility of users or directories suggesting changes. I think if you're familiar with Google My Business, those are one of like my least favorite features are those suggested edits that are overriding your data. What we're doing is we're making sure that it still matches what's in our system. So we're doing these continuous sync checks to preserve the integrity of the data that's on each of those directories. All right, next question. So you were saying earlier that using a platform has large impact on visibility and conversions. That means optimization, right? So how does your platform have that much of an impact on optimization? Brad, do you want to start out with this one?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think this is one that both of us can probably answer. And a big factor, one of the things that we tried to really talk through today was the impact of accuracy and consistency, right? And from for a long time now, accuracy and consistency of data is not been seen as a super sexy subject really in the optimization game, but it's really key and it's really crucial location marketing to have complete profiles online, but to make sure that data on all of the different platforms with which customers are engaging is in sync, right? Is accurate, it's consistent, it's telling the same story. And when these factors are off, and why they're seen as trust factors and ranking factors, when these trust factors are off and consumers are getting the wrong information, that they're going to go to stores that are closed or have wrong opening hours, that so if there are factors that are misaligned online, these are potentially optimization factors that have an impact on where you're going to be visible online. That's why consistency, accuracy, and having complete profiles is so important. It's because search engines like Google look for anything that they can to establish trust, and this is a big one, right? So as a brand, they know that you're consistent and they can trust you, that the information you're putting out there to the customer, that when they go to a location or when they any location that your business is synonymous with and they make a purchase or something of that nature, that they can really trust that if they're going to put you above the pack, that's going to be a major optimization, not an optimization, but it's going to be a major, they can trust that they're giving consumers the right information that they can trust. And so that's one way of looking at it. Crystal, maybe you have another way?
No, I think I definitely agree with all of that. The only other thing I would add is understanding that as a brand, across all of your locations, there are features and functionality that Google's going to take into account that will measure you differently than if you're a single location business or a small business. So if across the board you don't have brand consistency and feature comparisons and all of these things optimized on your listings, it's not going to carry the weight in terms of performance than if you're an SMB, you've got to do it once or twice. Whereas a multi-location brand, or as Google identifies you as a chain business, they are looking at the performance of all your locations across the board, and that does have impact on your visibility.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, next question is, why do I need a platform? Can I just make sure I'm answering reviews and have correct info on GMB? I'll start with this one. So I think we showed in our study that, of course, we understand that Google My Business is probably the absolute most important directory for businesses of all types, all industries, all regions, geographies, those types of things. But it is kind of twofold. So we showed that there is lift on Google's performance by managing other sites. So I think that's kind of one of the areas that you want to pay attention to. You know, you can start with just GMV, but when I'm working with, you know, agencies and marketers, it's always that, okay, we started here, what's next? How much further can we go? How can we get more performance out of our locations and our listings? You know, it really is expanding that reach across the board. But then I would also say that, you know, Google is always changing. There are new fields and features within Google all the time. And to be able to keep those updated, if you've got dozens or hundreds or thousands of locations, can be timely and costly if you don't have a tool that is, you know, constantly keeping you updated with those features. I think this is the same thing for reviews. The way that they're presented within Google My Business directly do not give you the type of visibility that you could get from a platform like Uberall. So you can't really dive into what's, you know, happening on a week by week or week over week basis. You can't look at your locations and say, you know, this location is outperforming in terms of reviews. There's a lot of manual effort that would be required in order to see that. So you know, not only does a platform or a tool give you the ease to automate these things, but it gives you the visibility to see what's happening across the board, to see where there's drops, and ideally increases in terms of performance and review data. So I think, you know, not just efficiencies, but also, you know, it expanded your view into what's going on with your locations. Yeah. All right, and I think we've got time for one more question. Is there anything outside of local listings and reviews that, you know, a platform like Uberall will help with? So Brad, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, can you just repeat the question, sorry?
Is there anything outside of listings and reviews that these platforms help with? So of course, you know, we can probably speak to Uberall's solutions in terms of what else, you know, a customer could get out of our platform.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, no, definitely, and obviously, Crystal, you can jump on the back if you want as well. You know, listings and reviews are fantastic and necessary, but they're you know, core functionality of, say, our platform, and I would say any location marketing platform. But then you do have other aspects, right? Other things online that if you want to have sort of a total I would say sort of a total local marketing kind of, you know, tick all the boxes. If you want to, you know, spread yourself across and just say, I've got everything sorted, then having things like store locator, you know, building yourself a store locator is quite important. And say, for instance, you know, having a solution that actually allows you to do that fairly easily, like Uberall, makes it so that, for instance, if someone's searching, you know, branded search terms that potentially they want to find a bit more information about, that they actually are going to search for, say, I don't know, city at the city level rather than, say, the specific location level, right? Then if they're looking at that specifically, they're probably going to not really be sure about where that location is or exactly what's the best one near them. So in terms of, say, for instance, a store locator, it actually helps you to be found for different types of local searches that perhaps goes directly into the store locator, and then from there they can locate the right location. Yeah, so it's covering your bases in terms of, hey, now you're getting yourself found for local searches in the, you know, the search engine results pages for your website. They're going to go directly to your website from that local search, or they can go to that GMB profile as well. So you're covering your bases there with a store locator. And also, I would say too, having something we also have is local ads, so that it helps you if you're, you know, helps really, you know, underpin your efforts of doing that organic local marketing optimization, with very much a paid way of getting right to the top of the you know, the local pack, right? And getting right on top of that with your targeting ads, targeting a specific you know, paid local advertising for some of your local stores, or allowing some of those, you know, local store operators to actually do that themselves is super helpful to have that feature there. And then lastly, I think the analytics is really important too, right? Let's not forget that. We have talked about the reporting from NearMe 360, but the ability to report on your improvement in performance is really important. So, we have our advanced analytics, but we also have standard analytics platforms that actually show, hey, this is your increase, this is your increase in conversions, this is your increase in visibility. And so having a total solution where you can not only, manage things centrally, optimize, and then see the performance results, and then be sure that sort of you're covering all of your, local marketing bases. That's, I think, the next steps on from just listings and reviews management that makes that a total solution. And also, you can be safe in the knowledge that you can do everything within one platform as well, right?
Yeah, the only thing I would add there that we've been seeing, more testing with and more success with some of our clients is highlighting the local product inventory. So if you're a retailer and the core of your business is selling products, understanding that in the last year, so many of these searches have been about this product near me. There's been, supply chain challenges and those types of things. So, people are not as concerned with where they're going as long as they have the products they're looking for. And can I pick it up if I order it online, those types of features. So we've definitely seen a huge rise in interest and success from local product inventory and product inventory ads. All right, and I think that's all the time we have for questions. We do have a couple more we didn't get to. So again, if you have any else, please feel free to add them in the chat and we'll address them all via email after this webinar.
Thanks so much for watching. And as Crystal said, we'll address them and we'll send you out, all the information from this webinar that we've promised you. So everyone have a great day. Thanks so much for stopping by. And on behalf of Crystal and myself, wish you a pleasant rest of the day or evening or wherever you are, enjoying whatever you will be after this. I hope you have a good one.